Shari, and I am the host of the show. And this is my husband,
Co-host.
and co-host, and Taylor. Hey, Taylor. The team is all here. And I'm a nurse midwife and a board-certified lactation consultant and a baby product expert, and then, of course, also a mommy myself. Tonight's show is about travel. About traveling with your baby, okay? And what an appropriate time now with the holidays coming up and Thanksgiving this week, and then Christmas and Hanukkah and everything rolling around and New Year's. Some of you may be on the road with your baby, or even tempting the airport and some flights with your little ones for the first time. And I thought that would be a really good topic for us to talk about. We're also going to talk a little bit about nursing in public. Two topics that I think are very important as we're out there more, whether we're on the go or more people visiting us, even in our home. And, nursing in public could even mean in your own living room if you've got enough people around you watching. So just two important topics that I think we've had a lot of questions. As the questions came in over the last couple of weeks, these are the questions that have been coming up. All right, let's get into a little bit about what to do if you are going to be traveling with your baby. It's interesting. Whenever I teach my newborn class or the live classes, we talk about getting away with your baby. And it comes from my own personal experience, because when Joe and I had Jade almost 9 years ago now, my first daughter, we planned a trip, and we took a vacation when she was only 4 months old, and we went to Florida for 2 weeks. And wouldn't you say like that was our best vacation ever?
No doubt.
No doubt, no doubt. It was just our best vacation. You would think, wow, traveling with a 4-month-old, that was your best vacation? Well, besides our honeymoon, we did have a really awesome honeymoon too. But this was totally different. I mean, just being able to take 2 weeks.
Most surprising, I would say.
The most surprisingly great vacation. Yes, most surprisingly great. And we just took 2 weeks to really be with our baby. I mean, there was just nothing else to do. We weren't working. There wasn't the hecticness of being home. We were on, in hotels. We slept in late. We had her with us. I was breastfeeding at the time, so I didn't have to take a lot of stuff with me. And we just had an awesome time being with her. And she was in her little car seat, and we were going to fancy restaurants, and we would sit down with this little 4-month-old, and she would just sit there while we ate, and it was fantastic. And then when she was about 18 months old, so about a year and a half later, we decided to go on another trip. And that was totally different. We spent the entire trip fighting over who was going to watch the kid running around while the other one sat on the beach, because she was running around at that point. So my suggestion, and then once you have your second, it's never the same again. So my suggestion is, if you are pregnant, or you have a newborn, or you have a little one that's still not mobile and they're in their car seat, plan a nice vacation and try to take a trip with that baby, because it'll never be that same time again. You will really, really enjoy it. But if you're going to do that, I have some really important tips that I want to share with you, so that you can make that travel the best experience possible. First of all, have minimal expectations, especially if you're going somewhere like where you really want to do a lot of sightseeing, or you're trying to get out every single day. You are with a baby, or even when you're traveling with your children. Have minimal expectations of like how long you can be out. You need to kind of stick to their routines. And so you may be the first one up in the morning, like like at the crack of dawn, you're the first ones on the beach, but at some point in the afternoon you need to go back and take a nap, and the baby needs to take their regular naps and stick to their schedule. It's going to be very, very hard for them if you're keeping them up really, really late, or not sticking to a schedule when it comes to their nap times or their feeding times and that kind of thing. One thing that can really help, and we've done this, is travel with somebody. Now, that means either take somebody with you, like in our case, we have an au pair. She comes with us on every vacation, and that's fantastic, because then, when the kids go to bed, Joe and I can go out for the night. But I mean times where you can actually travel with grandparents. Go on a cruise with your parents. Go on a vacation with another family where you can take turns, where they watch the babies one night and then you watch the babies another night. Going in on like renting a house together where you may be able to have a place where you have like a kitchen or a refrigerator. Having a suite where you have some kind of refrigerator or a kitchenette is a really good idea when you're traveling with a baby, so you have some place for refrigeration. And it can save you money that way too, because you could do some cooking. But it is a nice way to do it. Make sure that, you try to bring what you need, but don't overpack. Traveling with too many products can be completely overwhelming, and you start packing like everything in the kitchen sink, you're going to find that, it's just that much more weighing you down. When you're at these locations, you can sometimes Google like baby gear rental. You may be able to get strollers like in Disney World. The hotel that you're staying at may have a crib that you can rent while you're there, so you can leave the pack and play home. Try to take as little as you can with you, and try to leave as much home as possible. The things that you definitely want to travel with, here are my suggestions, okay? First of all, if your baby's an infant, your infant car seat, okay? Do not use a rental car seat, okay? We've learned the hard way looking at those car seats. Scary, okay? Scary. You don't want to do that. You don't know if they're safe. Car seats, if they've ever been in a car accident, may not be functioning right. We've seen car seats that didn't have the right belts on them. It's just one thing you do not want to do is use a car seat just because they list it on the car rental form. Like, would you like your car seat with that? You say no, and you bring your own car seat. The other thing about your car seat is I would travel with it on the airplane at all costs. So hopefully if you're able to afford getting an extra seat for your baby, that will be fantastic, because you can actually put the baby car seat right into the seat, strap it in, and that way the baby's really secure. It's actually the safest way to travel with your baby. And if you can't afford a seat for your baby, then those little infant car seats, if you fold down the handle, they can usually fit in the overhead compartment. I recommend not checking your car seat, because I've had 1 or 2 customers already who've told me that they got their luggage lost, and you will not be able to leave the airport. Okay, you don't think about that. It's like the one thing you need to be able to leave is your car seat, so make sure that you bring that with you on the plane. You can also take your stroller with you. I would take the stroller right up to the gate. And especially if you like a cheaper stroller that you're bringing with you, just bring it up to the gate, leave it there, and check it as you walk right onto the plane, and they'll have it waiting for you as soon as you get off the plane. But if you have one of the nicer strollers, like a Bugaboo or a Orbit or a Stoka, or one of these strollers that's actually cost you a lot of money and you don't want to get it ruined, they're going to destroy it, even at the gate. They're going to throw it right onto the plane, okay? So I'd recommend you can push it up to the gate, but bring a stroller bag so you can pack it up nice and neatly into that stroller bag, nice and protected, before they throw it under the plane and make a big mess of it. They really don't care, and they're not liable for it. You've already signed off on your rights on that. So I would say make sure that you bring something and be careful with it if you want to protect your stroller, okay? Let's talk a little bit about being on an airplane. Everybody had questions about, okay, one of the questions that came up was, when I'm traveling through the airport, this whole TSA, did anybody see the news the last couple days where they were talking about, like, this craziness of this flight attendant who had to take her prosthetic breast out because the TSA agents were making them like really screening, and she was a flight attendant, okay? So people got all kinds of nervous questions about, are they going to separate me from my baby? Could they take my baby away from me as I'm going through? I did a little research and went on the TSA websites, and I gave you the links so you can go and see what they say about traveling with your infants. They actually had some really good video content on there for you to check out, tips on what to do when you're traveling with the baby through an airport, getting through security, the recommendations, and also the rules and regulations regarding breast milk, bringing breast milk with you, formula with you, juice, like what kind of liquids and how it differs from regular liquid travel, and that's all on their website. And yes, you can bring your breast milk either whether you're traveling with your baby or without your baby. You can bring your breast milk. So in the past, I know that had been an issue. It's not an issue anymore, okay? But you do need to show it to them, and you're going to have to approach someone in the line and let them know what it is that you're doing, okay? Couple suggestions for air travel with baby is, first of all, like I said, if you can get your own seat, great, okay? If you can't get your own seat, then I would definitely make sure that you have some kind of a really good sling or carrier, okay, to put on, because the baby will not be strapped in. And, you'll have your seatbelt on, but if the baby's just sitting on your lap and you had any kind of major turbulence or anything, the baby could fly out of your arms. So if your baby's on your lap, I would recommend either, some kind of a carrier or a sling to put the baby in, and it's also going to be easier for you anyway. A soft sling is actually my best suggestion. Baby will sleep in the sling, and you'll have your hands free so you can read or eat a meal or whatever it is. And for all of you experienced nursing mamas out there, you can just nurse right there in the sling and never even have to take the baby out. which would be perfect. When you are landing and when you're taking off, your baby's going to experience some ear pressure sometimes. That happens. And swallowing does help that. I would recommend either feeding the baby, so if the baby's on your lap, nursing the baby, or pumping, bringing some milk and pump milk in a bottle or formula or whatever you're using, even sucking on a pacifier or your finger will help the baby to unpop their ears and let go of some of that ear pressure, okay, because that can be an issue for infants. And again, the Vibracol, this will definitely help on. I always use this right on takeoff and landing, and it always worked great for my kids. Always really great. Let's see, nursing does really, yes, it does, Patricia. You know, it's because when you swallow, think about when your ears are popping, and what do? You either like cut a yawn or swallow, and that'll open up the ears. And so when the baby's nursing, they're doing both of the same things, opening up their jaw and swallowing at the same time. So it really works well. So now let's talk a little bit about, like, what if you were on the road with the baby? You know, if you're traveling and you are going on the road, like in a car, just make sure that you plan to make frequent stops with your baby, okay? Like, plan for that ahead of time so you're not like stressed out and disappointed that you got to keep stopping. Like, figure out on the road like where those stops are going to be so you're not pulling over in some like nasty truck stop at 11 o'clock at night with your infant. Plan ahead of time so you know where the safe places are, the exits to get off on, and just so that there's no like disappointment, you know you're going to be doing it, especially with a toddler, okay? Think about like an 18, 19-month-old that's used to just like running around all day long, and now you got them strapped into this car seat for a long, long ride. So they're going to be miserable. Bring lots of snacks, bring lots of liquids for them. Children tend to, and small toddlers tend to get dehydrated when they're on long trips. They tend not to eat as much when they're traveling. I guess maybe from just, you know, being in a different environments. You want to make sure that they stay hydrated, bring the drinks for them, and then, you know, try to pull over as often as possible. Let them run around a little bit, sit with them, nurse them, that type of thing. Bring some kind of a goodie bag with something new, you know, especially even with little babies, 6 months and older. What I would recommend is making sure that you bring some kind of toys that are going to entertain them. In my car, I have a Tahoe, and when I bought the Tahoe, we got a DVD player, and Joe goes, "Oh my God, don't do that. You can't get the DVD player. The kids will never get out of the car." And now with every long ride, he looks over me and he's like, "You were right. Okay, you were right. You were right. Okay." So if you know, when you get to have kids my age, it's great having that DVD player. But if you have a small toddler, save something new. Like, buy them a new toy. The novelty toys or toys that are new tend to have a longer lifespan for like keeping them interested to play with. So find them some new stuff and give it to them right as you're ready to leave. Try to leave at night or try to leave during their nap time so that you can get like the most out of it. These are some of the tips that moms were giving me all day on Twitter and through Facebook and emailing me tips that they had, and some really great tips came in. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. Who was it that told me find places ahead of time? Bye with baby told me that, to find places ahead of time. I thought that was a great tip. Really great tip. Okay. So now let's go into maybe a little bit of questions and answers. How you guys doing over there? Let me read some of this stuff here. I always feel like I'm just not part of the party because everybody's talking. You guys are having this whole. I am the party. I am the party. I'm my own party in my head. I've got my own party going on. Okay. Can you take a night flight? Yeah, taking a night flight's awesome, especially with a baby. Let them go to sleep. I will never forget when we were coming back last year. My 6-year-old. All right. So Joe is like always the one telling me not to do this, not to do that. Like, okay, the kids are big enough. They don't need strollers anymore. Yeah. Get out of my sight. Okay. So he's always telling me, like, you know, they don't need a stroller. Okay, she's 6 years old. She doesn't need a stroller anymore. She's 5 years old. She doesn't need a stroller anymore. Well, I said, well, as long as you're willing to carry her through the airport, then we won't bring a stroller. And we fought about this as we were leaving. Someone said, is that Karen there? Take the stroller. Yes, we took the stroller. I did not listen. Okay, and then when we got off that plane, because the plane was delayed at midnight and my 6-year-old is sleeping, I had a stroller to put her in. So I was right again. I was right. Go ahead, let's see it. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was right. Okay, or a baby carrier, okay, if your baby is small, but the stroller, especially for a toddler or a heavy child, carrying them through the airport plus your luggage, okay, ridiculous. The one time we didn't take the stroller, we had this big luggage cart with all the suitcases, and my 5-year-old spread eagle sleeping on top of all the luggage. As we pushed her through the airport, we got some really funny looks, but you know, it worked, whatever. Let's get to some of the questions. I'm not kidding. We really did that. Remember her laying on top of that luggage rack? Okay, so some questions that came in here. I had one question that came in from who's this? Let's see, Heather in New Jersey. Okay, and Heather wanted to know. She has a lot of questions about traveling with her little one. What good travel beds are out there for a 7-month-old? I have a pack and play, but it's difficult to travel with, and my son doesn't like it. What kind of travel beds? So if you're not going to get one that is going to be from the hotel, like you know, a crib or anything, one of the good travel beds out there on the market is very unknown, but it's by a company called Phil and Ted's, and a lot of you know that because of their strollers. They carry a product called a T2. I actually love this product. It's like a pack and play, except it folds up into a bag about this big. So talk about great for travel. It's fantastic. And it's also great for the beach. It has a padded mattress. Everything rolls up into this little ball, and it's just awesome. Somebody's saying also Baby Bjorn Travel Light, maybe a new product I haven't seen yet. It's probably very similar to that. Something small. You don't have to bring these big giant pack and plays with you anymore. They make these nice products that are small and specifically for travel. So I would recommend doing that. Okay, and then also, like, when you're on the go, what about giving baths, like bath time for baby? When Joe and I would travel with our baby, we found an inflatable tub, like a blow-up tub, like almost like a pool toy, and we would bring this inflatable tub with us. We would just deflate it, put it into our suitcase, and that way my child wasn't sitting in the bathtub in the hotel. We could fill it up, put it right into the bathtub, and then we had our own little bathtub for her, either up on the counter when she was really little, or when she got a little bit bigger, to sit into the tub. So that's what I would do. They still carry them, the blow-up tubs. So now let's see. So what do you pack inside of a diaper bag? Main things, okay? First of all, if you're a first-time mom, make sure you get a big bag, okay? I love these new moms who come in first time. They're like, I don't want one of these big bags. Just give me one of these little ones. I'm used to my little Gucci, you know? I'm like, okay, forget it. You're not gonna like that. You've got like a million things you're gonna have to carry with you. You got diapers, you got wipes, you've got diaper creams, you've got extra clothing. Make sure you pack extra clothing in your bags, okay? Because your baby is going to have leaks or poops or spit ups or vomit or whatever it's going to be. Your baby's going to need to have some changes of clothing, burp pads, blankets, and then of course stuff for yourself. So you need your wallet. You're not going to carry an extra bag for your things, so you're not going to be carrying I still carry a diaper bag. Joe thinks I'm nuts, okay? I am the diaper bag, what do you call it? A fashion, what do you call the word? Like when somebody's like a diaper bag a fashionista. All right, I've got every diaper bag on the market. People Joe says I work for diaper bags, because as we get a new diaper bag into the store, I literally have one of each in the store.
Marcus and Patricia, she's trying to find a reason to get away with your bag, but
yes, all right. Emily, I love diaper bags too, okay? I put my laptops in them now. I have awesome diaper. I have the best collection. You know, it's my favorite part. It's the perk of owning the store. I can have the diaper bags that come in, and I have to try them out, right? How am I going to tell you what's good, all right? If I haven't tried them. They're all good. The ones I carry are all good. All right, so that's some of the stuff that you're going to need to carry in your diaper bag. And if you're cloth diapering, you're going to even need an even bigger bag, because the cloth diapers are a little bit bigger. How do you travel with your cloth diapers? That was a question that came up. Like, okay, so I'm going on vacation, and now I need to travel with my cloth diapers. How do I do that? Well, depends on how long you're going to be gone, okay? It really does. If you're only going for 2 days or so, you could technically travel with your cloth diapers and then bring them home and wash them. If you're going to be somewhere where you're going to have a washing machine, that would be awesome. Jen, who teaches the workshop with me, told me that the first time she went on vacation with her cloth diapers, they had a condo they were staying in, and she was like, I'm definitely not doing cloth diapers when I'm on vacation. That's it. That's where I draw the line. And her husband was like, I'm flying a box of her cloth diapers down there because I know she's going to get a rash if she's not in cloth diapers. And so they wound up bringing the disposables, and within 2 days of being on vacation, the baby had a rash, and Daddy saved the day and had the cloth diapers for her. So she had to admit that he was right. I know she doesn't like to do that, so that was very difficult for her. But if you are going to be traveling for longer, it may be impossible for you to do your cloth diapers when you're on the road. There is a hybrid diaper that we carry. It's called Grovia, and it's awesome, and it has a disposable insert where you just take the outer liners, the shells, and then the inserts that have much less chemicals than the regular diapers do, so that you're not exposing your baby to all those very, very harmful chemicals that are in the regular Pampers and Huggies and everything else. But if you had to do it for a couple days, look, you're going to do it. It's gonna work out. If you look, it's better than doing it for 3 or 4 years. So, do what you have to do. If you're going on vacation, you don't want to deal with it, just take your regular diapers and you'll deal with it. Let's talk a little bit about breastfeeding in public, okay? Ooh, I love this topic. It's one of my favorite topics, okay? When I was breastfeeding, I made it a point to breastfeed everywhere. I breastfed everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, I would sit in the mall, I would sit in every office, I would make sure that I was breastfeeding everywhere I went. Now, that didn't mean that I was like whipping it out everywhere and like exposing myself, and all you guys know that you can do this very discreetly. This does not have to be like, exposing your breast to everyone. But, for me, it was about feeding my child, and I felt like if other people who were formula feeding or bottle feeding had a right to feed their baby anywhere they went, then I had a right to feed my baby everywhere I went. Not to mention the fact that I felt like, breastfeeding in public will start changing the conversation that we have in our culture that this is somehow not okay or not acceptable to do. It's ridiculous that we even have to have this conversation that can we breastfeed in public. In other cultures all over the world, they think we're crazy. They can't even understand what we're talking about. It's so acceptable. The fact that, we even have to have laws protecting women against, whether they can breastfeed in public. Those states have laws on the books that are specifically designed to allow breastfeeding women, they protect women so they can breastfeed in any public or private location anywhere. So that means you're in a store and someone says to you, do you think you go in the bathroom and do that? They don't have a right to tell you to do that, and you have a right to feed your baby wherever you desire. That's your right to do it, and you need to know that, because a lot of people get very, very intimidated. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to breastfeed in public, okay? For some people, they're not comfortable with it, and that's totally fine. If you feel like that's something that you're not comfortable with, I'm not telling you go out and do it. What I'm trying to say is it is definitely your choice, and, I never fed my baby in a bathroom. I thought to myself, would I want to eat in the bathroom? That's what it felt like, was like eating in a bathroom. And I was not about to do that. And if you feel uncomfortable doing it in public, you can always use your car. Set up your car with your pillow and all your stuff and just nurse there. And there's some really great products on the market besides the baby hobo bag that's going to make it easy for you to breastfeed in public. So you're out anywhere and you can actually nurse your baby in comfort. But there's also other products like nursing covers. There's ones, all different companies make them. I think even My Breast Friend makes a new nursing cover now that you can put on, and it will totally cover you and keep you discreet. You can get some really good nursing tops that are very discreet, that have like peekaboo holes in them where, you're just really opening enough just to have the baby latch on. Wearing a nursing bra is obviously going to help if you're nursing in public. And the tank tops are awesome, like the Bravado tanks that we talked about a couple weeks ago, because if you're layering with that tank, and you go to pull up your shirt, you're not exposing your back and your stomach and everything on the side. You just kind of have everything else covered and just your breast out for the baby. And there's been a lot of lawsuits lately with people, like a lot of these employees in some of these establishments, like restaurants and stores, don't understand women's rights and actually that they have a right to be wherever they want and feed their baby. So any public or even private establishment, you are allowed to do that. We need to start protecting breastfeeding. And, it's like, we should be allowed to do this wherever we want. This is we should not only be allowed, this should be encouraged. This is just something that should be celebrated, okay? Really celebrated. And so when you see a breastfeeding mom and you walk by her in the mall and she's nursing, just go over and just smile at her and just say, awesome job, because everybody needs that encouragement. I do that all the time. I love it. And they love it too. They get very happy. Thank you guys for another wonderful episode of My Baby Experts.